What's happening, boys? You alright?
No.
I am alright. Well, we're doing no bad. We are fourth in the league on 9 points and just rolling off the back of an 8-0 victory to Dundee United. Hearts women are absolutely flying and I'm loving every minute of it.
Absolutely. I've never taken you for a ladies football fan, but
Hey, I live and breathe ladies football. You know, I've been campaigning for months to get a segment on ladies team on this show. Now Corbett's not here, we're definitely doing it because it's probably the only positive thing we've got to chat about.
I thought we were actually top 10. I must have completely read it wrong. So,
oh, you know what? Shame on you, Tam. How can you not know where Heart and Midlothian are in the league?
I don't even know where we are at the moment in terms of the normal league. League? That was
the
bad.
Normal
men's
league.
League. Men's League, sorry. Apologies, that's bad.
Do you want to alienate any more listeners while you're at it? For God's sake.
The men's
we're
team,
10th on 1 point. So, there you go.
Good.
Trying out the bottom 6 for a few weeks.
A few weeks. I don't know. I think it might be a long old months ahead, but we'll see.
We'll get to that.
We'll see. Kev, how you doing? You all right? You had the pleasure of being in Motherwell on Sunday?
I don't know if you would class being in Motherwell for any real reason as being a positive, to be truthfully honest with you, mate. It was cold, it was wet, it was ugly, and that was just the football.
I thought you were just going to say that was just yourself. Sorry.
Way! Cheeky bastard.
Oh, yourself, Andrew, you all right?
Oh, copy and paste for last week. Nothing really has changed. Hearts are still upsetting me on a weekend, but apart from that, I'm all good, my friend. All good.
Absolutely. So, welcome back to This Is My Story podcast. No Corbett again, so you've got my dulcet tones to try and lead the way here. He's still. What's his name? Neil Buchanan from Art Attack. I think he's been busy the last few weeks. So
that's a good reference, Tam. You're definitely too young to know about Neil Buchanan from Art Attack, but points for trying. Well done.
You ever heard the one, just to not talk about Hearts for even longer, but ever heard the rumour that he is Banksy? So there you go. That would be a common.
Do you know what? That would be one hell of a story. That
would be great.
That would be absolutely brilliant.
Just does a big reveal with his Art Attack sweater on that he never had off. Good. No, I haven't heard that rumour, Tam. I think it sounds like you've just made it up on the spot.
I'm sure there's a conspiracy theory website or something that's got all the facts that I've not really looked into, but there we go. Okay, back to Hearts. There we go. So we'll start. Obviously, this week we've got quite a bit to talk about. We've had the 2 games in the last week. We've got 2 games coming this week. Everyone's positive, buzzing with the start to our season. We're into the busy time where when does the window shut? Friday night? Is it?
Friday night, 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
11 o'clock. Cool. So, what's the term they always use? The door slams shut in the transfer window. That's slowly approaching. So,
it's the wrong terminology. How does the door slam shut when it's a windy? Right?
That makes sense. The window slam shut. That just sums me up, doesn't it?
You're an absolute fud of a boy. So yeah.
Please, Corbett, come back.
Show name.
Please, Corbett. The door slam
the show
shut.
Name this week has to be that.
Okay, yep.
God, man. Right. You know what? Someone, see if Corbett isn't back next week, one of us is taking the keys because you're not driving anywhere. It's just,
the keys to the door. Is that it? The keys to the door.
Very good. Very good.
Anyway, right. We'll just kick off with headlines anyway. So, might as well talk about window, door slamming shut. Friday night. I'm running with it, man. What do you reckon we'll see? What do you want to see?
Well,
what do you reckon? Incomings, outgoings?
I wish it was a revolving door
because there's no rumours.
Well, if it was a revolving door, half the players that we have bought in, I'd like to see thrown straight back out to where they came from. But it's realistically not going to happen. I think I want to say it was a quote by Joel at the Hearts Standard. Excuse me, the Hearts Standard. Saying that they don't expect much more business to be done. So that read into that what you will. I don't think we're going to have any marquee signings making a last minute sort of show we've done our business early, I think has always been said. So if anything, you're going to see outgoings on loan, and maybe a couple of exits if we can find someone to buy some of the dross we've got.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, what was it Naismith said on Sunday? There might be some activity, but he didn't write off anything. But I don't know if he is more talking about outgoings. You've got Atkinson still on the books that's training with the B team, I think, still. Surely he's...
I think you're going to see them. I would expect to see, if they do not leave before Friday night, I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel contracts for some players. That must have been discussed. If they're not training with the A team, then there's a good chance if they're training with the Bs, then let them have some agreement in regards to their contract so that they can move under freedom of contract.
That's
I wouldn't be surprised as well. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised as well if I think a lot might depend on what happens on Thursday night. I think if you find that you've got a bit of a role in regards to money, plus European games fall into January and February of January, February of next year, then there might be some movement in regards to maybe a winger or another sort of striker, because that's definitely an area that we need to look at. I think there's probably enough argument around a number of other positions, don't get me wrong, but I think that's one that's definitely, over the first 4 games of the season that we've played in, let's class it domestically rather than the European games or European game, that's the one position that is definitely showing as a bit of a weak point in the team at the moment.
Sorry,
Tom.
sorry, go on.
I was going to say, just to circle back for a minute, and I don't claim to be the font of all Hearts news, but I didn't realise we had players playing with the training with the B team. Who you mentioned, Atkinson? Anybody else on that list?
Sibbick was,
yeah,
wow.
But he's of course moved on.
That's just such a massive custard pie, which is right. Actually, you know what? We didn't want you, so you're going to go and train with the B team. I think that it almost feels like, what's the word? Malicious. Because what would be the harm by letting Atkinson continue to train with the A team? I don't understand that.
See, every time you say A team, I keep thinking of like Mr. T starting up front for us or something.
Well, maybe we could do him in defence right enough, but well, fuck it, put him in goals. But
sorry, I ruined your point.
No, it's well, the point stands. It's just it just seems a malicious way to treat somebody. And fair enough, if you do want to get rid of him, which I think we're all agreed that we want to do, you have the conversation with him, say, right, we're actively trying to punt you, but actually, just to add insult to injury, we're going to put you in with the training with the B team. I'm not a football insider. I'm sure Corbett might be able to answer it if he was here, but I've no idea genuinely why we would do that unless he is a proper pain in the arse at training and is just like sort of not spreading positive vibes. If that's even a thing you can say.
I think it's just football though, and it happens all over the place.
Yep, I think we've spoken about. And we've spoken about the fact that the club are quite soft. This is one where they've actually taken the right stance, So from that point of view, but also the fact that if you're including him in some, you can't include him in shape if you're not going to play him. He's not registered to play for us at the moment, as I understand it. He's not on the registered list of players. So from that point of view, all these kind of things then have to come into that equation as to why would you even continue to actually have him in the A team sort of training with him when you can't play him on a Saturday/Sunday. I can see where you're coming from. As a kick in the balls as such, but I think there's a number of different footballing elements that need to be looked at as well, and it's probably the right thing to do.
Because let's just be honest, right? So you don't get a buyer for him this window, and he's training with the B team, right? That any potential suitor that could come along in January window, supposing he sticks around that long, he doesn't just rage quit. Like they'll look at his tape and go, well, actually, he's garbage. He's been training with the B team. No, we're not taking a risk on him. He'll be absolutely rubbish. He'll take weeks to get up to proper sharpness if he's training with the B team. But then, to your point about cancelling his contract, like you have to pay him all his wages that he would have earned in the remainder of his contract, and that's, I don't know.
Yeah, but you could just pay his wages. That means he's not going to get any additional bonuses and such like for wins and all these kind of things that are no doubt written into his contract. So these kind of things are are usually fairly amicable. Look, you're not going to play here. We'll let you. We'll cut your contract. We'll pay you 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever it may be, and give you the opportunity through your agent to find another club.
Yeah,
that's what his agent's there to do. That's his job as such.
If he digs his heels in, he could just say, "No, it's fine. I'll train with the B team and I'll collect my wages between now and the end of the deal." But then I suppose it's if you're wanting to continue your career and if he's homesick, then because I think that's originally what they were speaking about with his major problem, other than the fact that he's a bit garbage. But I
think their season comes to an end shortly, does it not?
Australian season.
Is it not?
So it's getting into their summer. I think it'll shut down pretty much ahead of that. But not sure. But that's fair enough.
Right. To go back at your point, though, Kev, I do agree. I think a striker or a wide player or something a wee bit different from what we've got. We've seen boys come on. Well, played at Falkirk, came on Thursday night, and let's just say he's not really looking very good, to put it politely. But aye.
Okay. I played the devil's advocate. What do you expect? With a player who has been out for so long. I know we spoke about it pre-pod. Signed in 2020, so he's been with us for 4.5 seasons. Probably played 2 of them, or 18 months. But then, of course, you've then got to look at, and we spoke about it last week, the week before that. What pre-seasons he had?
Yeah, true.
We played 3 games.
True.
So this goes back to decision making within the management team. Of how do you expect him to be at a particular level for playing? Okay, Falkirk's a different matter, but playing in European football when he's only had possibly 60 minutes in his legs. I know he's had training sessions, but actual match fitness.
Yeah,
I find it very strange you've even thought about bringing him into the team at this point of the season.
To be fair, he is probably more that number 10 role now than a striker anyway. And if he did get back to his best, I would be more than happy because a fully fit Boyce is a player that can only be useful for us, really.
But as a half-fit Boyce, the best number 10 you can have, or one of the number 10s that you've actually signed, that's the craziness.
They don't seem to play there, do they? But that's a different point. They'll never chat. I've seen possibly a few youngsters going out on loan. Not seen any so far this season. Obviously, we've got quite a inflated squad. So, do you reckon we'll see a Tate, a Pollock, Wilson? I think the other chat was McCluckey, left mid, possibly going out.
Yeah, I think they will definitely do that. It's one of them. You've got a really bloated squad if you keep all those lads around, and I think the short and long of it is going to be that because you're going to get 2 schools of thought on this. The first one is them. Let's play the youngsters because why wouldn't we, right? Loads of people are big advocates of that. But these are also the same people that will scream and shout when results didn't happen, right? Playing young laddies that are untested is a big risk, especially when the heat is on and you've got 3rd place that you need to try and win this year, right? I just don't think... And the signings we've made so far this season speak towards this, which is you've recruited players all over the park. There's no way he's blooding any of these youngsters this year. It's just another thing. We'll play them for maybe odd minutes here and there in games. If they come back before the end of the season or whatever, maybe some of them will come back in January. Who knows? But it's a novelty thing. But we're never going to see any stars out of this crop of players. Same as the last 2 or 3 or 4 loads before that. So off they go.
Yep, I'd be interested to see where they go as well. What kind of quality or what kind of level of football are they actually playing at? And again, you hear it a lot from down south, teams in the Premier League about how their players go out on loan and there is written into the contract, effectively, they've got to be involved in the first team. You've got to be thinking why you're not doing the same thing for a lad that goes to East Fife, goes to Dunfermline, goes to Stenhousemuir, Ayr United, whoever it may be that they actually go out on loan to. Why, that should be something that we should be starting writing in when those boys go out so that we can see that they've got an actual career path, let's call it. Whether they then are making a sort of player name for themselves in the Championship or in the First Division, and then going, actually, right, we've proved they're proving themselves at that level, right, we do bring them back in January, like you say, Ando. Or actually, do you know what? The best thing for their actual progression as being a professional football player is to be there for another season, depending on what league it's in, and then next year they either come into the first team or they actually then move up a league and go to the Championship. If you've got them on a fairly well designed contract, you've got that chance to progress them through the leagues. That's the only way of doing it. We don't have an under-21 league any longer, and yeah, the boys in the B team seem to be doing okay, but that is still the fifth tier of Scottish football.
Yeah,
you can't go from. I don't think anyway. I don't think you can go from the fifth tier of Scottish football to the Premier League.
Yeah, you're right.
And we talk about it regularly. As fans, we're the first to jump on some players' backs because of poor performances. That's how you kill a young lad's career, in my opinion, is bringing them in to appease 500 folk that are screaming for youngsters to be blooded into the first team. You do it, they make a mistake. I'm not saying that this is what's happened to Denham, but look at the mistake he made against Dundee last season. Cost us the game. Didn't really play for a number of weeks thereafter. Didn't really then come into the fold in a great deal of games last season, and has now been pushed out in away to Ross County. Let's see how he performs.
We didn't have a very good day on Saturday, put it that way.
Did he play, did he?
Yeah, he was playing right mid, though, just to find out. But it's a bit strange.
What is his position?
Who knows? It's one of those ones. What I would say is I think that the youngsters, if they do get a chance in the first team, they do get a lot more of a leeway. And I think fans won't be as quick to show their feelings of them being shite, essentially. So, yeah.
But we'll give them 2 games instead of 1.
That's Hearts. So.
Just to let you know, Australian season, just for anybody who's really interested,
which is the
26th, 26th of October. So actually, letting Atkinson go, if he wants to return back to Australia, might not be a bad thing.
In my eyes, he's already gone. We'll never see him in a Hearts jersey again. If he's not registered to play in any leagues, it's only a matter of time. So it's bye, see you later.
Unless he's like Uche and he's still in 3 seasons, 3 years' time, he's still training and kicking a ball about in his Hearts gear. That's the only way we're going to see it.
Fucking hell. Well, hopefully not.
Absolutely. So essentially what we're saying is the transfer window, we've got no clue. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's getting any clue. We're going to see some young lads go out. We're going to see no incomings that are any good. And that's it. We move on with our lives to the next one.
Yeah, I would like to see something a bit different. I know we've got, obviously, it's really hard to get another number 9 when your captain's there. You don't really want him playing every game, but I would like us to see maybe a bit of a sort of target man type that'll be a bit more physical as a striker. I think that would be something I would like to see, but big physical Hearts, bring it back.
Okay, Craig Levine.
Just another headline for this week. We've actually got 2 episodes coming out. So it is Foundation of Hearts Day on Sunday. Is that correct? It is. Right. So ahead of that, Corbett had a sit down at Tynecastle last week with Jerry Mallon, the chairman of Foundation of Hearts. So keep an eye out on that. This will come out first, and then probably Thursday, Friday for the interview with Jerry. That'll be on YouTube and audios as well. So keep an eye out on that as well. But
how many Foundation of Hearts days do we actually have? It just feels like the last one was just 5 minutes ago.
Probably the last game you were at Tynecastle. No.
That's fair.
The last one you were allowed to. It was this time last year when we were on a shit run as well. So that probably was about right, actually.
Oh, great. Aye. Way to get more money out of folk.
Yeah.
And it's something to raise. It is something to raise, though. We did start the season last season badly. What has been identified this season is the start that Aberdeen have had, under new management, etc., bringing some half decent players in. They've started off well, and I think that's what's probably highlighted our poor start to the season a little bit more, because everybody sort of looks at Hearts and Aberdeen in that particular third place position. But as I say, we started last season pretty badly, and actually over the season it worked out not too badly. So we can't sort of effectively kill the season off 3 games in, but this Sunday, and we'll talk about it shortly, this Sunday is pivotal in what the season looks like, in my opinion, because you go into effectively a 10-day break, 12-day break for the international. A lot of questions will be asked over that period of time, in my opinion.
Agreed. I forgot it was the break after that as well.
And then straight into Celtic away.
Oh, good. Cool. Standard. And you know how we are after international breaks.
Correct.
Excuse me. So we'll crack on with the football now, but last Thursday, Victoria Plzen away. First of all, I just wanted to say well done to the boys and girls who made it out there. Looked like a fantastic atmosphere. And on the TV, you could, to be honest, the majority I could hear was Hearts fans. I don't know if that was my selective hearing of Hearts songs, but
you're right.
thought it looked like a great away day. And hope everyone had a class time as well. But fair play, and I think obviously we've got a lot more sort of away days coming in the next 6 months. Sure, there'll be a lot more going on. What about you, Kev? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, as we said last week, it was effectively a free scalp last Thursday night, and for 95 minutes of that 96-minute game, we held our own. Had things been a little bit different, there was a chance for Shankland in the first half. He's hit it clean as you could, and actually I would give more credit to the goalkeeper for making the save, because he's actually going one way and has to sort of deviate his way back to get a good strong hand to it. But I thought overall, the performance that we put in last Thursday was probably one of the performances of the season alongside Rangers, and a total different performance to how we played on the Saturday at Falkirk.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought, obviously we'll go back to the start sort of thing. Were you, Ando, were you shocked to see obviously a stick with the back five? Personally, I thought that was the best way to sort of set up, try and be as sort of defensively stable for that away leg, and then take it back to Tynecastle. But were you happy with the way the team was sort of announced?
Yeah, I think I didn't have any major dramas. If you consider where you're going, and I think we spoke about this last week. So you're going to a team that, okay, fair enough, you've heard about them and you see them on the telly or whatever a few times, but ultimately you don't really know a lot about them. And if you just look at their results record, it's quite formidable. Some of the teams that they've managed to sort of hold their own against, and ultimately I think the only people that have beaten them, as we covered last week, are some of the European elite clubs. That in and of itself is something to pay attention to. But I don't think we got bogged down with that at all. I think the team setup was cautious. Let's say that. But I think the tempo and the attitude shown by them was decent. I thought. I think Kev just covered that a second ago, and I don't have any problem with the way they played or the way they set up. I thought it was a fairly decent performance overall. And one thing that did strike me is that they are eminently beatable. But the difficulty is that I don't even know if they even got out of first gear. It's one of those ones. Is this a look over here, it's something shiny? And lawless and a false sense of security, but that's a very elaborate game to play in the European stage. Nobody really operates like that. So, I think you can only beat what's in front of you. Obviously, we didn't manage to do it, but a moment of madness has ultimately cost us. But if we'd come away from there with a draw, I'd have bitten your hand off for it this time last week. And I think had it not been for that one psychotic moment, then we would have had just that.
Absolutely, I agree. Any thoughts on the goalkeeper situation, Kev? Obviously we've had our say the last few weeks in terms of who we think our number one should be. Do you reckon there was a back spasm for Clark? Do you reckon it was a situation that Gordon was always going to play? What do you think? I think you've got
to take what you've been made aware of by Joel Squed at Heart Standard and other comments that have been made via the club that Clark just wasn't 100% fit due to some back spasms and such like. So, you've got to pick your strongest 11. And when I say that, I just mean from the point of view of actually fitness. And we know perfectly well, right? We've said it before. We're in a very fortunate enough position to have two very good goalkeepers, or one very good goalkeeper and a good goalkeeper. Let's put it that way. You can make your own decision as to which way that goes.
I'd still say two very good, but that's me.
Yeah, I know, but you're looking through navy blue tinted glasses. But all right. Craig Gordon is, we've commented enough. Craig Gordon will go down in Hearts history as one of the best keepers, if not the best keeper we've ever had. That's a given, right? That's never going to change. Some of his decision making has been questioned, but his decision making when he was at with us first time round was sometimes questioned. Mm-hmm. The fact is now that he maybe doesn't have the bit of pace to get his sell out and maybe make an amendment for his poor kicking or whatever his decision making. That's one element of it. I think we're because if it is true, we're finding ourselves going to be in a very, very difficult position, because what you're then going to have is two good quality goalkeepers, both vying for number one, which is great and brilliant. But I've got a good feeling that someone, be Craig Gordon, is trying to prove something to a particular international manager that he should have actually been away in Germany in the summer, and he's pretty driven on those kind of things. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him, if not stay with us, move on somewhere else if he's not going to be given that chance.
Well, I would say the last
Clark in a bad position.
Yeah, true. Well, I would say the last three games, you can still no question he's shot stopper. He's still up there with the best in Scotland for that, to be honest, for me. Especially that, was it Halliday's header on Sunday? Sunday, Fibbett yard out. That just proves how good he is. It's not that bad. It's not a bad headache to have, I suppose, when you've got two keepers like that, but must be quite difficult to manage, to be honest with you. But it's no us that has to make this decision. So, aye. Andrew, you kind of touched on it, but defensively, obviously, we were 95 minutes complete control, to be honest. I thought they didn't really, I never really felt like they were ever going to score. I don't know if that's hindsight talking now, because I was a ball of nerves last Thursday night.
I think that definitely is hindsight talking. There were a couple of chances where, if let's be honest, they had chances, but they weren't. They were few and far between for me. Them in terms of gilt edge chances that should have resulted in a goal. I think there was just the one or two. I would certainly consider Rangers and Celtic to be far more dangerous than they were on Thursday, and that is ultimately why they're beatable. It's that they didn't show me that they could run right over the top of us, and I think it's one of those, get them back to Tynecastle on Thursday night, narrow pitch. We know what it's like. The atmosphere will be electric, and I'm sure as we'll cover when we do predictions and match preview. But yeah, I'll keep my powder dry until we do that. But yeah, I don't think there's much there that gave us cause for concern. But that in and of itself also has me nervous.
Agreed. And you're obviously the same. They had their chances. I think we had ours as well. There was the Shanklin chance you spoke about, Kev. And there is the Kenny Vargas conundrum, I suppose. What did you think of his performance, Kev?
As the kind of player he is, you get frustrated at him, right? As I've mentioned before, I think he sometimes runs about the park looking like a bit of a prancing horse at times, and he frustrates the hell out of you. And I think the reason that he frustrates you is because he gets himself in really good positions. It's just either the last minute sort of decision making of look up and make a cross, or lay it in for somebody else, let's say Shankland, or if you've got Grant running in from midfield, whatever it may be. Or actually hitting the target.
Yep.
That's the one thing in my opinion is it does hold them back at this moment in time is decision making, and actually being able to hit the target or at least make the keeper work. There was a couple of occasions last week where you wanted him to maybe hit it earlier than he did. And one he blazed over the bar by quite a distance. And you would actually think it was easier to hit the target than put it where he put it. So he's frustrating. I can understand why fans love him. He's got all attributes that you would want, and that kind of, I'm going to just class it as Central American sort of football player. He's got, bags of pace. He has got a wee bit of fight about him, which I like. As I say, he's just not yet the finished article. And the finished article is working with an actual, proven goal scorer, which we know Shankland is, and getting that support round about him to actually, get that bit of his game up to the rest of the game plan that he actually has.
100%. I felt like he actually had a tremendous game if you take out the 18-yard box. I know that makes no sense, but he done everything well, ran the line well, ran at space, drived with the ball, got past men, but then as soon as he gets a sight of goal, it's
that last third.
Yeah, it just seems to be, I don't know. It's something I know Hearts are probably, that's why we've signed him on a 5-year deal. They think they can improve him on, essentially, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, maybe. It's like you've found the secret as to why a South American is with us in the first place. Like, if he was any good, he wouldn't be at Hearts, let's be honest.
If he was the finished article, he certainly wouldn't be there.
Correct.
You're right there. Right, Ando, you spoke about
Right.
Daniel Oyegoke. Is that his first name? Daniel, it is Daniel. What is he playing at?
I was in quite a good place. I'm not going to be triggered by this. Kev can answer this one.
So I will answer it. I'm not putting any particular blame on him. And I think as Hearts fans, I think we do this quite a lot as we call out that guy for making an error. Did he make an error? Or was actually the cross that was put in that good that he knew he had to make some form of contact on it? It was just that he got too much of the ball. Because I think if that cross is put in by Vargas, Blair Spittle, Oda, whoever it may be, to Shankland, you're screaming for Shankland to get in front of that defender. Their boy has put enough pressure on Oyegoke to effectively get enough of it on, enough of an actual contact to put it in the net. So I get why some people will be giving him absolute dog's abuse, but the cross, in my opinion, the cross makes the goal. My issue with the whole loss of goal is, why have we just booted it out the park for a throw-in? Why have we not booted the ball, out to where there's God knows how much space, because they're pushing onto us? Because if you kick the ball out, all that's going to happen is a throw-in's going to come straight back at you. Whereas if you're sensible enough, and I know this is again hindsight, you boot it as far down the other end of the park as you possibly can without it going out, and get yourself out so that you're not actually, defending on your 18-yard box. That's the way I looked at it, more than actually blaming any of the Hearts players for that side of things. You've got to cut the cross out, all these kind of things. I get it, but the quality of the cross was outstanding.
You're a lot nicer than me for once, Kev.
I'm trying, mate. I'm trying.
I'm putting blame straight on him. But to be honest with you, you're right. It's kind of one of those things. It's last minute of the game, concentration goes. You've not got the excuse of tiredness, but you do have that. He's came into a game that's high intensity. He's only came on for the last 15 minutes to try and chore it up. But I just think you want your, who is essentially a centre half as well as a right back, you want him to be clearing that straight away for me. But it is what it is. It makes no difference for Thursday night, in the sense that we're still going to have to score regardless. We're still going to have to go out and win. There's just another goal in it now.
And like Ando said, actually, if we had said last Tuesday night when we recorded last week, you're going to be going into a game at Tynecastle 1-0 down, would you take it now? I'm going to have a guess that probably would all say I will take it, because I think most of us predicted 3 or 4-0s. So, given the fact that we'd played badly against Falkirk, then we play, let's say, for 95 minutes pretty damn well against Plzen. I said it in the community chat the other day there. We're like the Jekyll and Hyde of football teams. We've played one really good game. Rangers is a great example. 2 shite games, Dundee and Falkirk. A half-decent game against Plzen. And then we go into that farce that was Sunday at Fir Park.
And I'd expect a big reaction on Thursday night, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, to be fair, that leaves us my last question on Plzen. Before we're obviously going to do our proper predictions, but Ando, you kind of touched on it anyway. But I know I agree with you. I don't think there's anything to fear on Thursday night. But where does that sort of leave us on Thursday? Are you fairly positive, or how are you feeling going into it?
Right. So, well, Kev. Yeah, I can't remember the exact phrase he used, but the Hearts are the most bipolar team going, right? So it's one of them that we could pitch up on Thursday and absolutely do them in, right? But let's be honest, let's be realistic. That's not going to happen. I think it really, I don't know, right? We'll cover this in more detail. I suppose one of the questions I think you're going to ask us a bit later on to do with best 11s and all that sort of thing. I still don't know, right, what the best team is, and I don't think anybody does really,
including the management team.
Exactly, right. And that's for me is the bit that is the great unknown. If you take the Hearts team, I know we're just talking about how it was a really shady start last season, right? But if you take the team that went on, what was it, a 12-game unbeaten streak or whatever, you put that team in front of that opposition on Thursday, wins hands down, right, for me. I think there's no issue there. I think the players that have left, we've not replaced them with players that are any better in that position, and they're still trying to fit into the system. I think this game maybe comes 2 or 3 games too early. I think it'll be another glorious, maybe, don't want to say a glorious failure, but it'll be like a score draw or something like that. But yeah, I don't think we're going to go out and sweep them aside.
The good news on that, though, we can't go out. That the way goals rule is gone. I don't know how many times I've seen Heart of Midlothian Football Club go out on the away goals rule, but that's now gone. So from that point of view, let's hope it's better news for us.
Let's just hope it's like Rosenborg last year or the first half against Zurich, where we go out and really take the game to them.
Anything without extra time. If it goes to extra time, I'll be raging, because that'll just be another half-hour delay for me getting home.
Could go to penalties, mate.
Yeah.
I'll not be there. I'll be leaving at 80 minutes to get a jump start and a drive home. So
you'll be passing Berwick upon Tweed when we're at penalties.
You're right.
Now, obviously, we'll go to our prediction. I don't even know if you want to predict it now. I think we'll leave it.
We may as well. Probably
you might as well. It ties in, doesn't it? But it's a hard one. I think do you reckon we'll still? I know we're going to talk about best 11s near the end, but do you reckon we'll stick with a back 3, back 5 situation, or do you reckon we will go more what we've seen in the first game of the season with a 4 at the back and take the game to them like we did against Rangers?
I hope it's that last one, because if you start fast against them, then who knows what can happen. But if you're going to play super defensive and just let them play with the ball, then ultimately that will be our downfall. Because defensively we are shaky just now, and it's we need to start fast. And if we can recreate how we played in the first half against Rangers, I think you'd be on our winner. But it seems too obvious to just do that. Eh?
So I think they also play a 3-5-2 as well, don't they? So I think they would be prepared for us to. I think we might be able to shock them by actually having a go early on, get an early goal. That would be my hope, but we'll see. I did see their centre half. Can't even remember if he was any good or not, but he signed their main centre half signed for Hoffenheim yesterday. I did see that.
So. They're big sort of money maker defender. They've just punted.
The number 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm guessing the fact he's went to Hoffenheim for £8 million, he's not exactly going to be shite. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
that kind of proves it.
Aye, exactly that. And you're right. I think we've got to go with a back 4. We can't continue with this play about a 3-man defence. It's got to be a back 4 in my opinion. 4-2-3-1. We know that works. That's what we played the majority of times last season.
Yep.
Why change what is a winning formula? as to who goes into those particular 4-2-3-1 positions, I think there's probably only a matter of like 4 that you know perfectly well who is going to be in them, in those particular positions. But that's got to be, in my opinion, that's got to be Thursday night's sort of lineup, and actual, performance level has to be at that same size as where we've been in every game that we've played under that particular format.
So, go on then, Kev. Is it, as Ando described it, is it glorious failure, or are we going to actually get a result?
Do you know what? Because I'm going to be absolute scathing when we have a review of the Motherwell game. I am going to try and stay positive here. I will go after 90 minutes 2-1.
Fair. And then
we go into extra time and penalties, and Ando's halfway down the road.
And then because
so
I've left the ground,
happens.
Yeah, I've left the ground at that point. We win.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
If that's the case, we'll try and kick you out after half an hour.
That's fine, mate. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, we sat next to him, so please do. Ando.
I don't know. I've got visions of it being a 1-1, but I don't know. We need to have an element of positivity. It could be one of the best nights ever. It's Tynecastle, it's European game, under the lights, all that stuff that we always speak about, how the atmosphere is going to be class. And like Tam, you done a bit of counting on the ticket situation. I'm sure you'll come to that in a second, but it looks set to be.
You done the counting for me, to be fair.
Well, thank the good people at Microsoft and their inbuilt calculator, but it's one of them that it's set to be a absolutely terrific night if we can just get that across the line. I think I'm going to be positive. I'm going to say it's 2-1. It's going to extra time. I will be absolutely livid, and we'll sneak a goal in extra time. Same as Kev, basically.
Same as Kev.
Don't know why.
Enough.
No, that's a lazy answer and a boring answer. So
no, it's not boring.
Leave it up to you to predict the 5-0.
To be honest, I think the same. I think it'll be. I'm not as confident in getting 2 goals in the 90, but I think we might just sneak a 1-0. And then who knows? No, I really don't know. It's one of those things. Penalties, I hate them, man. I genuinely don't think I would even watch them because I didn't even watch them in the Gretna final.
Can we just take a second to imagine what Corbett would be like if it went to penalties? Especially if it was at the Gorgie Road end. Can you imagine the state the boy would be in?
Would love it if it was at that end because the camera would be facing right at him.
You wouldn't see him.
He'd be hiding underneath the seat. Is he still got superstition where he's wearing three jumpers and 2 jackets and everything?
Something like that, and only using green pens. Or maybe that has been broken, and that's why we're having this bad run that we're having. He needs to get back to his 3 jackets and green pens.
It's definitely Corbett's fault.
Good. So I don't think we'll go through personally, but I think we will win the 90. There you go.
Let me empty out into the Conference League. Assuming that does happen, then when's the draw made for that? Is it? I assume it's Friday.
Friday, actually. Yeah,
is it? Right, so we'll find out pretty quick, smart who we've got. All right.
So then we get I can't even remember who's in the conference. Is it Chelsea or something? We'll get Chelsea.
Something
and have to sign some mad striker or something before the window.
I think the first game for the Europa is the 25th or 26th of September, depending on Wednesday or the Thursday night because of the way it works. And the conference starts around about the big first Thursday in October, I think it is.
The 3rd of October, you're right. So
yeah.
we bit of prep time, get the travel plans and figure out what game I'm actually going to go to. I never made it the last time we were in the Conference League group stages because I was in Oz for most of it. So I'm definitely going away to one this time, 100%. Although actually, I'll maybe wait and see how we do against Dundee United before I commit to anything because I'm fed up with this team.
Everyone talking about the mad dash for Oasis tickets on Saturday morning. It'll be the mad dash on Friday for booking flights wherever we end up. People will be phoning their mates. Skyscanner will go through the roof. Everything. So
as will the prices for flights to places, some dodgy outback place in Bratislava or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. As always is. They'll Ryanair will be rubbing their hands as they always do when it gets announced. But aye. Anyway, so we talked about shape for Plzen game, how we were happy with it. Leads us to Saturday. How did we think? There obviously was how many changes?
Don't know, but Saturday was great. I went uptown. Had a great day at the festival.
There was, four changes on
Four changes.
On Sunday.
Yeah, Salazar made his debut. Dundee Utd, Forrest came in. Happy with that on Sunday. Going to keep saying Saturday, so someone save me.
It all circles back to the same point. I was probably as happy as I could have been. It's one. I mean, you look at all these players that were brought in, and you've got we've all got I suppose, unique individual take on, whether they're good or not. But I think the very little that I know about them, I didn't look at it and was immediately upset. I thought, given the performance that we had on Thursday, looked at it and thought, okay, fair enough, away from home again, persisting with this chopping and changing of things. But it was all right. I think on paper, I thought that can probably do the business against Motherwell. Those are my initial thoughts.
Same, kind of disagree. I thought it was actually quite more attacking than it actually ended up being. When I first seen it, I thought they might have played Spittle and Dundee a wee bit more forward, but both seemed to not really commit. It was more 2-8s, as you'd call it, in the modern sort of look of things, but narrow. Both, well, the whole team ended up forgetting how to be able to pass the ball 10 yards, 5 yards, how to run, how to have any intensity. Seemed great, but Kev, you were obviously there. Talk about the start of the game then for me. What did you think?
I think when I seen the team, I think even on Thursday night you could tell that Forrest was going to start. Dundee never played on Thursday night, so he was a definite starter for Sunday, and the likelihood was that Spittle would start as well. I think they were definite shoe-ins for the starting 11 on Sunday. And like Andrews just said, again, on paper, that team should be enough to beat Motherwell. I'm not buying into this whole element of the travel back. The game on Thursday, then the travel back has a real big impact.
Not this stage of the season, eh?
God, no. Surely it shouldn't.
Yeah.
But again, it's something that we've already called out. What have we seen in those, in the games where we've got defeats is individual errors. That's what it comes down to. And actually having the capability of switching your brain on for a period of 95, 100 minutes, say, in your weekend. Doing the job you're supposed to be doing. That's the be all and end all. I know it's probably a bit rough and ready to say that, but that's what their job is be switched on from the first time, for the whistle at the beginning of the match to the end of the match. And there was a number of occasions where people switched off and let others, runners go past them. Individual errors, we can talk about the Salazar one, the third one until we're blue in the face. It happened, and he'll feel bad himself, I would expect. That's not how you want your debut to roll out, from that point of view.
I've got it written down here, Kevin, and it is, I've put down 3 goals, all easy to lose, all individual errors. The Salazar one, to an extent, you can kind of understand it in the sense that it's his first game in Scottish football. He's got to Fir Park. We all know what Fir Park's like. You've just came from Colombia, got to Motherwell. You've probably seen the favelas or whatever in Colombia and thought Motherwell looked even worse, to be honest. But that's
wow. But, you know that you've just pissed off a whole load of people in one particular town of and they're probably every single person in Motherwell is a little bit more handy than you are, so I think you're going to get slapped about the place next time you're across there.
Slap me about with their 12 fingers or whatever it is. It's fine.
Oh, whoa! What's going on here? Right,
Digging a hole, Tom.
have you got an ex-birthday, Motherwell, that you're upset about or something? Like, what's going on
I've just
here?
never. I've been multiple times, never seen us win, so it's I hate the place.
You were really there on Sunday. You were really there, weren't you?
I know, I was actually there. I was sitting up the back. Nah, I've got it written down though in terms of the goals. Like Kingsley losing his man for the McGinn header, obviously free header at the back. Then the second one, Rills losing O'Donnell, free header. Those things are just. That's not what we were seeing last season. How many goals did we lose for set pieces? I think there was 1 or 2, and then we're already free into the season. And it's just the mistakes of like sort of passing it back, miscommunication I get, but when you're training all week, set pieces, you should be able to run with a man, block him, try and attack the ball. It's just so frustrating.
None more can be said about it, Tom. It is exactly that. And the thing is, really, what is the other options? I don't think you can bring Halkett in at the moment. He doesn't look fit. Looked okay for 15, 20 minutes against Falkirk, but then he fell out the way. He fell by the wayside. So you're not wanting
slimming world, that lad. Like, just doesn't look like a footballer now, does he?
No. And you understand it. He's been out. For so many seasons. Picked up injury against Hingme in Austria. Came back maybe too early against. I think it was Dundee United. It was the same game that Gordon broke his leg, and he went down after 4 or 5 minutes. So he's and again, you then start to ask the question: should you have given them an extra 12 months contract? Same for Boyce. Would you give him a 12-month contract?
Well, the Boyce was a clause that was written in when he played that X amount of games, it activated, and then we were compelled to give him that extra contract. But for Halkett, I think happy to be corrected. I don't think that was the case. So, but yeah, I think Halkett. Let's be honest. I loved prime Halkett when we had him for the 10 or so prime games that we've had out of him. Right. He was brilliant, absolutely bulletproof. Time's gone. Sorry, mate, you're not good enough. You're constantly injured. Then we just need to that ship has sailed. So
yeah. Fully fit Halkett for me though is probably better than a Rills and a Kingsley. I think he would go in alongside Kent, but see a fully fit Halkett. To be honest,
well, that would be fine. I don't agree with the Kingsley part because I think you still play Kingsley on the left-hand side where he should play. Kingsley plays before Rills, in my opinion. On that side of the park. So yes, having Kingsley as if you are playing a back three, Kingsley, Kent, and then Halkett as your right, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But they've all got to be fit. They've all got to be able to actually communicate and talk to each other. And as you rightly say, attack a ball when it comes across it. That's the job at the end of the day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Obviously, we had our second scorer of the season. Oda actually took the goal well, to be honest. Well, Shanklin was brilliant in the box. To be fair, probably could have took it himself, but feet in the box, Fargus done well. It was a good goal, but at that point, 2-1 down, kind of expected us to kick on. Not really see much.
No, lack of urgency. You had that 5-10 minute spell where it did look like we could get something out of it. And then
tempo was right up.
Correct.
But, and that naturally happens after you get a goal back. But yeah, it petered out all too quick.
First half, the amount of times even Gordon got the ball, wanted to maybe make a quick throw out. Nobody was looking for it. Or there was a free kick for them being offside, for example. Again, folk just standing there. The one player that wanted the ball played to him to try and move it on was Boateng. I've been pretty impressed with him so far. I think he's been definitely a highlight in regards to signings. I think he's looked really, really good. And I must admit, when I heard we were interested in him, I didn't even think anything of him playing at Dundee. Couldn't remember him. But moves the ball really, really well. Could be interesting to see him and Benny play together as a two in front of a back four. And then that way it gives you the chance or gives you the opportunity for somebody like Dan Spittle, Oda, Vargas, whoever, to play that three with Shankland up front on his own. So there's options out there. Don't get me wrong, and we can't, as I said earlier on, you can't just write off a season because of 3 bad games right at the beginning. But things need to change Maybe not for Thursday, but definitely for Sunday.
100%. No, to be honest, I had it written down here as well about Boateng. I thought he was probably one of the only ones to get pass marks for the game. I thought Taylor was a bit better again. I think obviously confidence was a wee bit knocked after the performance at Falkirk, but I thought he'd done a wee bit better as the game went on as well. But anything to add? Sunday's game performance?
Nope, move on.
Well, just for me, you're talking about Boateng there. I think jury's still out on him. For me, I'd love to see him in a proper attacking sense. He's solid, in terms of being able to keep the ball, but for me, he hasn't been able to create enough yet. And then I don't know when we're going to start seeing that sort of thing from him. I think forget Thursday, and probably won't see it out of him then. But I think there's quite a lot of players who've got a big game against Dundee United, and he's one of them for me.
To be honest, Ando, I don't think you will see that side of him. I don't know if that's really his role. I think he's more keep the ball, pass the ball.
Yeah, I get that, but you still need to be able to create something going forward. You didn't just stand there with a ball. Like I get that you're a defensive midfielder or whatever. Don't just stand there, right? Look up, see a forward pass, see a through ball, whatever. Like I've not seen enough of that from him yet. If that makes sense, it's all sideways or backwards.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of it, you I don't know. He came on for like 5 minutes against Rangers? Is that the only game you've been at this season, Ando?
It's the only one I've been at. I've seen them all, but I've not been at any others in the flesh apart for that. You're right. He came on.
But you never see that, do you?
Late
never see that element in regards to it. Aye.
Yeah.
I would agree. I've only been at that game, on the home game. I've not been that way yet this season, and you will see his job a lot more when you're in the stand and you can really watch him, his movement, his ability to sort of seek a pass, see a pass.
Well, I hope you've told him. I hope you've told him that you're telling me he's going to be brilliant on Thursday, and then on Sunday again at Dundee United.
We've actually told him if he doesn't up his game, you're buying a new busman's hat, and he's going to be on that bus if he doesn't up his game, alongside a number of others.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Right. We kind of touched on what we were going to talk about, but I thought it was quite an interesting thing. We kind of talked in the community chat at some point over the weekend as well, but kind of thought we don't know our best 11. Does our management team know our best 11? But I wanted you to give me yours. And I know you.
Yeah, I've kind of already partially answered this question. The short and long of it is, I don't know the best 11. Nobody knows the best 11. I don't think there's any way that they can, because there's just not been enough minutes played yet, if that makes sense. It's going to take a wee while to suss everything out. I think you can do your whoever it was that was responsible for signing them can do all the research, run all the data, all the analysis, all that sort of stuff. Look at his facts and figures and say, on paper he's a good player, but then you just. With all of these players, you just don't know until you see them in an actual game, figure out their strengths and weaknesses and all that stuff. I think it's going to take another maybe 3 or 4 games for Naismith and Co to figure out exactly who the best players are in their respective positions. And my worry is that's time we don't really have.
Yeah, will be interested to see how it evolves. I think he has to, at this point, Naismith, I understand sort of swapping the attackers around and stuff, but he really needs to stick with a settled defence, settled sort of spine of the team. And I hope that they see that going forward. Kev, did you have a strongest 11 you could work at?
I think from what I've seen so far this season, playing my preferred option of formation would be a back 4 with Kent and Kingsley as your 2 centres, and at this moment in time, I would say Penrice. I don't think he's really put a foot wrong so far in regards to the games he's played. I want to say touch wood on that one. And Taylor, if he plays as an actual out and out right back, then I think he's definitely the better option that we've seen so far. As I say, without any injuries or such, I would be interested to see what Benny and Boateng look like as a sort of that two sitting in that particular position. Whether it's Benny wins the ball, plays it to Boateng, and Boateng has the ability to make a pass and see a pass, great. Your next three is where I have a real difficulty.
Well, I'll tell you now, Kev, I've got the exact same 6 as you there.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's fairly self-explanatory and expected. And we've not seen enough of Salazar, and what we did see of the 90 minutes, 94 minutes, whatever it was on Sunday, didn't really show him in a great light. But you can't really call him in regards to that for one game.
I think there's an asterisk over his name, exactly as you say. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. And then, as I say, your next four is difficult. That 3 and 1. Shankland, perfectly well. That's a given, right? So you're then 3 players out of right. Well, we know Mackay plays 1 in every 6. So you bring him in. If he plays well, great. You drop him.
Yeah.
But which just sounds ridiculous, right? But that's what we sometimes see from him is 1-2 games and then 5-6 games of shite. Really, at the end of the day, you've got Danda, who in that Rangers game looked great. Ball at his feet, was running at people. Have we coached that out of him? Holy shit! Wouldn't be surprised. Do you know what I mean?
Surely not that quickly.
No,
Hey.
we can't coach anyone positively or negatively that fast.
No, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Let's look at Tagawa after the St Johnstone game last season, and then all of a sudden he was pish as well, right? So there's definite there's a definite possibility that could be the case. Spittle, another example. Vargas. Oda, you've got
his position yet. So
yeah, you've got all these guys. You've got all these guys that are vying for those positions, which is great, right? That's where you want to be. You want 2 players in virtually every position to effectively challenge, and give the manager a headache, right? That's great. Shankland up front, but you didn't have Shankland. Then okay, Vargas can play up front on his own. But you're asking a hell of a lot for somebody who we only half an hour ago commented that he couldn't hit sometimes a barn door, So you've got these kind of conundrums that go on with the team at the moment because it's not right, it's not where we want it to be. But as I say, I'm going to say that back 6, 4 and 2, you can argue till you're blue in the face whether it should be Gordon or should be Clark, who's in between the sticks, but I don't see that really having as big an impact on the team as, say, taking out Kingsley for Royals or for taking out a Benny or a Boateng for Devlin.
Yep. So what would that 3 be? The 4-2-3-1. What would you? I'm putting you on the spot. Answer me.
For fuck's sake, Tam.
I'll tell you what I've got Vargas, Danda, and I genuinely think Forrest. And I never want to see Forrest through the middle again like we did on Sunday there because it's just no worthwhile.
To hell with that idea.
It's not an option. I would argue. I would swap Forrest for.
Exactly. I know.
Yeah, I know. I think I prefer to see Vargas out wide and cutting in. I'd like to see Danda out wide and cutting in. I'd like to see Grant as that middle player, if I'm being truthfully honest, because he can sometimes see a better option, a better pass. And then Shankland up front. So that would be my 3 and 1.
Cool. Makes sense. So Vargas out wide, either or way, and Grant in the middle. Makes sense. I get you. And then obviously Shankland. Yeah.
I think if you've sold me, Kev, I like that.
Thanks, mate.
I do like that.
I think that's the first positive thing you've said about me talking about the team for a number of weeks. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think that's fair.
I think it would be interesting to see Spittle. And I'm going to keep banging this drum. I said it last week, so actual play Spittle in the 10. Where he, what was it, 19 goals and assists combined last year. Played in 10 all season. And we keep playing him in central mid.
If someone could just unhitch the caravan that he's clearly towing when he tries to run, that would be a great start.
It's not a caravan. It's actually the other bus that you own that you currently don't have. You don't have the keys for because he's just pulling it. So maybe that's what it is.
To be fair, I don't know if it's a caravan. It's more like an aircraft carrier. It's like the boy cannot run. Right? He's like he's I've not say what I was going to say there because it's definitely offensive, and you'll have to cut it in another time. We didn't have time to do many edits on this week's one, but it is too slow for me, and it doesn't offer anything up in place of that slowness, right? Lack of speed, let's say. He's got no other traits that you go, I can stand him being a bit slow because he does this brilliant, he does that brilliant. Nah, bang average.
His delivery on Saturday was shocking. His delivery right just before he got hooked as well was absolutely terrible, because that was an opportunity. Shite cross, and he got hooked straight away. I think he was quicker running off the park than he was at any point during the game.
So one thing I would mention about Sunday, we looked a lot better when we made the subs, which is the first time this season, to be honest.
Yeah, true.
And that's maybe saying that the starting 11 wasn't up to it, but we'll see. Right, we've been positive about Thursday night. We're all saying we'll go to extra time penalties, so then 2 days later we're going to have Dundee United, who have actually started the season fairly all right for getting newly promoted. So we've got them coming to town after 120 minutes and penalties, as we've all predicted. How do you think we'll get on?
Yeah, I'll defer to Kev on this one.
I think a lot will depend on how Thursday comes about. I know we've said it's a free hit, but for all it being a free hit, I think if you run them close and then go out, you've got a massive headache to try and get over, right? And try and sort of hit the reset button before you go back into a league game. I think that's a big ask for whoever gets played on Thursday, whoever gets played on Sunday. I think it's a big ask because it'll impact on the club and the guys in the first team, etc., quite badly. But then you've got the other side of it, is if you do well, you're on a high, and you take that then into Sunday. So I know a lot of people are saying, Thursday night's games there's nothing in it really. But I think if you were to get scalped, that has a knock on, and you effectively got a hangover going on to Sunday. I think if you run them close and you still go out, you've got a headache running into Sunday. Yep. So you really need to actually, puts a lot of emphasis on the Thursday night game that you probably don't want, but that's just unfortunately the way we are at this moment in time because of past results.
You're right, Kevin. I think momentum's massive. Like if we go out there, have a good performance, get the high of actually going through the Europa League, we'll know who we've drawn by then. I think that goes into Sunday night. Probably, regardless of how knackered you are or if you're tired or whatever, I think that kind of, you push through that with that sort of confidence you might have gained for Thursday night. So it'll be interesting to see. It just scares me because we know our past history 2 years ago after Thursday nights. We've seen Kelly struggle with it this year. We've struggled with it this year. Well, Sunday there, but it scares me after playing a Thursday night. We need to get into that habit, and we're going to need to learn it throughout the season if there's another 6 or 8 games to go. So hopefully we can get into that sort of habit.
The club, anyway. They're doing the right kind of things though. Like I don't know if we've spoken about this probably as much as we should have, but they didn't fly home from Prague immediately after the game. They didn't fly until the next day, right? So that gives you a massive benefit, because otherwise you're not getting home till, you're not going to walk through your front door until probably 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time the time difference and all that sort of stuff, flight time, Prague's 2 and a bit hours away, all that sort of jazz, right? But they flew home the next day. They'll have been well looked after, and the game obviously on Thursday is at home, so yeah, okay, you can be a bit jaded from playing a fairly intense 90 or 120 minutes as it might appear, as it might turn out to be on Thursday, and that is what it is. But I don't know. It's one of these, right? It's momentum is everything in football. We don't have anything behind us just now, apart from a couple of half decent, and I say couple because it literally is that, 2 half decent performances. Ultimately, we never got anything out of those games either, right? So momentum is everything. Dundee United, they've come up, to your point, Tam, are the newly promoted team. I don't even know what the results are. I'm pretty sure they've won at least a game. Are they unbeaten?
Unbeaten in league. Yep.
There you go. Right. if you balance that with the fact that Hearts are on an 8-game unbeaten streak against Dundee United currently, right, which stretches back to when Nielsen was in charge. In fact, is it before that?
Why did you have to bring that out?
Well, actually, let me just check.
The last game would be the Humphreys for the halfway, or for his own half, would it not?
And the cup.
Well, actually, by my
3-0,
reckoning, the last time, the start of our unbeaten streak was Craig Levine's second time in charge. It was a League Cup game, and it's a way back to 2019. Dundee United haven't beaten us since then, right? That all comes tumbling down on Sunday for me. If we don't get a good result on Thursday with no momentum behind us, Dundee United get the bus into town and they go back up the road with 3 points in the boot.
Thanks, Ando. Cheers.
They bother. Anytime. Your face.
Atmosphere will be great on Sunday as well, I bet. If you had your toxic, if that's the case, probably.
And it'll be Pishington as well.
Aye. Right, Ando, you basically said it. So, what's the score going to be to Dundee United?
Oh, I'm incredibly positive, mate. I think it'll be 2-0. I think, 2-0.
To Dundee United, just to clarify, yeah.
No, sorry, my apologies. 2-0 at Hearts. I'm being positive here.
Oh, wow. Right, okay.
That
I didn't think that was the way that was going after you just spoke.
I was just saying. But I've already said that Hearts are going to win on Thursday, and momentum is everything. So Dundee United come in and we'll rush them 2-0. So we'll continue the unbeaten streak up to 9, I think.
Tell you what, by the way, I'm just checking. 20 degrees and sunshine on Sunday. Probably lovely.
Well, there we go. So I'll retract my previous comment about not being patient. It won't be patient now. Yeah, right, there we go. Fucking hell, man. Right, I'm buzzing again. I love being a Hearts fan.
Well, sunglasses on, shorts on, we'll be sound. Right, Kev. Go for it.
Yeah, I think you've got to be positive, right? You've got to look at winning your home games. Okay, take the ugly sisters out of that, but you take the other games that you've got at home, you should be looking to win them. Whether that is after a European game at home or a European game away, I still think you should be looking to actually win your home games. That's your bread and butter, let's be honest. In saying that, as I said earlier on, I think a lot comes down to what the result is on Thursday night. I know a number of people, as I said, have sort of already said it doesn't really matter what happens on Thursday night. Well, I think it does. I think if you've got momentum because you've won that game, you win, for example, on Thursday night 2-0, buzzing, right? You're going to the Europa League in this new format. You've got European football all the way through to the end of February. That puts a buzz right through the club. That puts a buzz into the players. That covers maybe the 10% that they're not maybe playing full whack, because they played on Thursday night. If you're led to believe that, a professional football player can't play 2 games, in a matter of like 3-4 days. So from that side of things, I think we really have to be positive. Can I see us keeping a clean sheet? Again, depends on what heads have been put on, but I will be as positive as Ando's been and go with 2-0.
Fair enough. I'm going to go by the history books. Say we're going to struggle, to be honest, on a Sunday after the Thursday. I genuinely think we'll get beat 1-0. That is how it'll go.
Cheers, Tom.
Well done. Thanks for turning up. Yeah, nice. What has happened, man? You're normally the happy clapper.
Exactly.
Must be age or something. It's just hitting me hard now.
You're a week older than you were last week. Right? It's no age. Right?
I did say last week that Motherwell are a gang and we should beat them, so that went well. So,
but you've got it in for Motherwell. You've just accused everyone there of having 12 toes or whatever it was you said. You're horrible.
So. Living in a favela.
That's it. Right. I don't think the people of Motherwell are going to let you forget that in a hurry.
I hope the people for work that I work with at Free Motherwell don't listen to this.
Nobody at your work listens to this podcast. Not a bit of it.
Nobody from Motherwell has a job, Ando. That's what you were going to say. No, fuck's sake.
Right. You're only wee, right? And you've dug this hole so deep, and you've only had 3 spadefuls at it. You're nearly up to your neck and shit here.
I know, I'm done. Right,
quite well you're behind.
We'll leave it on that. Cheers, boys. For this week, we'll obviously probably do again Monday, Tuesday again as Kev will probably have to drown his sorrows on Sunday again, so we'll see. But aye, cheers. Have a good one.
No bother. Well, all the best.
See you later, lads.
Gargaro.